And it's pro prep.
With a potato.
With a potato indeed.
So,
full disclosure, didn't know she was going to say that.
Potato pro prep.
Yeah, all your P's.
So basically, 250 grams.
She's carving up, folks. She's carving up.
This is meal 3 for me. And I'm just slamming the potato, the water,
and the water,
and the vitamin C.
She's going to be big, full, tight, and dry. So
and
today,
hard.
What we're talking about, as she mentioned, actually, we're down in rugby. We're here for the UK DFBA finals. We're both we're doing the show. We're doing the bodybuilding show. That's right. We're doing the show. We're doing the show. Should be fun.
I am not gonna lie. I'm petrified. Which may seem a bit weird to quite a few people, but
given the experience,
I think it's something natural, and it's actually probably a good thing to speak about. Maybe I'll do this as a solo one time, but it's been 2 years since I've been on stage, and I'm really nervous because I think it's natural to be nervous, but I think you put a lot of pressure on yourself, certainly I do, to bring my absolute best, and as any competitor wishes, they hope that they've made significant improvements and are happy with, their overall package when they come back to jumping up on stage. So you can kind of compare and contrast and go, yeah, the hard work's paid off. And I think my training journey this last couple of years has been different. It's been like kind of quite intense, like personally as well. So I'm excited just to see kind of how I look.
Yeah, that's it. So today we're going to do a video on a really important question, I think, and it's one that Kui put to us, young up-and-coming bodybuilder who competed within the BNBF a few weeks back at the British finals.
Really good guy.
Nice shape, got a good head on his shoulders, I would say.
Yeah, and great question he asked.
Yeah, he asked me, he said, okay, Andrew, you've been a junior competitor, and this applies to all classes, by the way. What do you do next? You've done the show, you've hit your goal. Should I take time off to come back and be bigger, better, stronger, a better package, or should I compete the following year? So it doesn't just have to be a junior competitor, it could be all classes. And he asked me, what would I suggest? And I mean, this is how I answered the question. They probably throw up even more questions for people who are watching this video than maybe even an answers. And first off, I'd say, well, it depends. Okay, it really does depend, and I would say that there's no hard and fast rule on this particular one. Certainly from a juniors competitor or a teen competitor sort of point of view, it's going to depend on what other things are going on and actually all people's life goals and things like that. So some people might be going to college, university, starting out in their career. They might have other sort of goals that they're potentially focused on, and bodybuilding takes up such a massive proportion of someone's life that sometimes it can be the detriment of some of these other potential life goals. So I would sort of say to people like that, well, do you know what, the stage is always there. The stage is always there, but if you're motivated enough, there's no reason why you can't go to the stage and do these things at the same time. You just have to be aware that you're putting extra stress on yourself after this. And I did my undergraduate degree, competed all the way through it as a teen competitor, junior competitor, from being 19, 20, 21 and 22. So I did 4 years at university doing it as well. So I maybe missed out on a few things, but I gained in other places as well, because bodybuilding was what I wanted to do. And that's not for everyone. It's definitely not for everyone. The other thing is, I mean, I was fortunate enough that I won the title when I was a teen competitor, and so I was already in a good place. I didn't really have, well, I had weaknesses, but I could get myself in condition, and my physique was balanced. It was just a case of adding more to my frame, and I made improvements year after year after year after year. And then when I competed in 2012, after I took some time off from being a junior to then add some size, because I knew I was going to go into the Mr. ranks and I needed to be a little bit larger, I then competed for another three years after that. So I did 2012, 2013, 2014, and again, I made improvements every single year when I competed. And So the notion I would just say here, the point I'm making is that you can definitely improve even if you have got these sort of short off seasons, and you can add mass to your frame, you can get stronger. It just depends on how you approach it and what principles you utilize here, and that's something that as coaches we can help you out with. So these are the sort of first points on this. There, I don't know if you want to come in here now.
I think the main thing there is that, again, it always comes back to everyone is an individual within their own right, and what one person's how much muscle they may accrue in a short period of time next to another person's will vary depending on lots of things, their intensity in the gym, their advice, who have they got around them, do they know how their body responds, genetics. There's lots of things that play a part in this, that it does help if you've got somebody in your corner to kind of have the experience and an objective overview. And I think when Kui asked this question, I personally thought it was a really intelligent question from such a young competitor, up and coming competitor, because he's thinking about the long game. And I think not many people come into this thinking about the long game. They think, oh, I'm just going to do a show, and then it's kind of all in for that show, but you don't objectively look at kind of, well, what comes from doing that, changing your physique, what comes from doing that. And I think it's a good thing just to kind of bear in mind when you start this journey is, what's the long-term goal as well, and ask questions around people, your peers, people who are more experienced, etc. So this is a really good question. Yeah,
absolutely. So from another sort of point of view, depending on the individual, now some people, when you go into that off-season phase, they're not as diligent as they should be. So they kind of come off their diet, they go back to their normal sort of lifestyle, they don't eat good quality food, they don't train as intensely as they should, and then they decide to get back on stage a few years later, and they do it again, and they're not really any better than they were the last time. Now for people like that, sometimes actually having the goal and competing year in year out is actually the best way for these people to get focus until they can work out how to do that off-season phase properly, where you can make the gain. So for some people, they need to compete every year to make the improvements. So that's another sort of situation where I potentially recommend that you definitely compete, because it will keep you focused,
drives
and
you
keep you on
towards
it.
The
other thing is, if you want to be good at bodybuilding, you have to do the pursuit of bodybuilding. You actually have to do shows.
Get the experience underneath your belt.
You have to get stage time. So having the confidence, the poise, the posing, the presence on stage, that comes from doing shows, or you bring it with you from other walks of life where you've been a performer. But you just have to do shows. You have to get good at what will seem like trivial things, like traveling to venues, selecting appropriate music, making sure that you pack all your things correctly and everything like that comes with you, prepping all your food appropriately for the days, knowing what to do when you're traveling on trains and things like that with food, or traveling with work to do these sort of things, because all these things add up and they reduce your stress level, which is really, really important when it comes to the show. Other things are, you need to know when to relax as well when you're approaching the stage as well at the same sort of time, so that you don't get overstressed. Because I think a lot of people will have a plan, they go backstage, or they get to venue, and then they lose it a little bit, and then that's where they start to get stressed, they start to hold water, and things like that sort of occur. So you've got these things as well. So doing all the sort of menial things, they matter. Knowing how to prep your skin properly, knowing how to
keeping good hygiene,
have good personal hygiene, just like travel hygiene, knowing that you need to wash your hands properly and things like that.
And we've got hand sanitizer, because when you're traveling and then you're eating food, like I've just been eating food out of the bags, and there's germs everywhere, and when you're a bodybuilder, it's really important that you're just taking care of yourself at every stage.
Believe me, we're not clean freaks either. It's just when traveling, it's just important to bear these things in mind. So you have to sort of learn how to do all these sort of things, and you don't have people holding your hands for all that lot of stuff. You've got a coach who will give you advice on these things, and please ask us these sort of things. But it makes a difference. So getting the tan right, and then it's like
there's a lot more to bodybuilding than just doing a show, doing the training, etc. There's a lot of ins and outs that I personally think coaches should give more information to clients about and all the external factors that play a part in becoming the best you can be in every area of this. So.
How do you deal with your relationships, for example? You've got these things, you're going to go into a show, you've got peak week coming up, you need to manage that around your workplace, you need to be okay with that with your partner, you need to be used to you drinking lots of water. If these things are all unknown, then you're not going to do as well at them as if you've got the experience doing it over and over again.
I talk about this sort of thing, managing expectations of the people around you.
Great point.
Talking to people around you about what you're doing, tell them what you're doing, tell them what it entails, so that they're understanding the process. So you're not met with, why are you doing that all the time? Or why are you eating this? Or why do you have to do that? Or here's a biscuit. You know, the thing is if you manage the expectations of people around you, you'll probably find more often than not, they'll support you more with it. They'll probably say, actually, I'll try and help this make it easier for you. Or if it's your partner or your friends or your family, they might realise that it's only for a duration of weeks, and then they might have the normal you back after a little while.
Yeah, of course.
So these things matter. Set the expectations. And honestly, this is something I wish I did early on, because I had this feeling like, I need to keep this for me. You know, I need to keep this as a personal goal. But actually what was met with was loads of challenges where people just didn't know what I was doing and why I was doing it. And if I'd just been a bit more open about what I was doing, then I think I would have found the process a lot easier.
So doing shows just makes you better at all the things that surround bodybuilding. And when you look at the Masters competitors, the professional competitors, the pro figure competitors, pro women's physique competitors, these people, they've put the groundwork in and they've built up all that experience over years to know what they're doing, and the reason they've got there is because they've done lots of shows to get themselves to there. So I mean, first time competitors, I always say, do a number of shows, get some stage time. Next year, do another load of shows as well, and then if you want to sort of focus on one federation or whatever after that, then by all means do that. That's up to you, but certainly do them all. Is what I say. Work out what you like, work out what you don't like. Now the other way we can look at this is when to compete next. Well, when should you not compete next? That's another sort of good,
probably a more important question.
Make sure you're competing for the right reasons.
Your attachment mentally to this has got to be balanced as well as your physical attachment.
100%.
If you come off stage and you found the whole experience really quite difficult, then
you didn't enjoy it.
So here's something we do with our clients, and I think it's really important. Go to your shows, post your show, sit down for an hour somewhere and write down your reflections, your positive reflections, your negative reflections. What did you enjoy about it? What was good about it? What did you hate about it? Or what was not so great about it? And look at that list and understand kind of where you're sitting on that, because if it's straight down the middle, then great, you've got loads of options. If you've got a ton of negatives there, this is something you might want to think about, because it's got to fit with you, and it's got to fit with your morals and values as a person too. So, you know, when Andrew's talking about when's not the right time to compete, if you've come away from it and it's been a really hard prep, you feel really exhausted, tired, you didn't really enjoy it so much, but you kind of felt relieved that it was a goal and you've done it, then maybe that's something to take a step back from and go, okay, I'm going to take some time away from this, leave it where it is, and then if I get that feeling later on, I'll come back to it. That's maybe a good way of sort of thinking about it.
I like that. I think so.
The other thing is as well is listen to people around you. Because if people are saying to you, you need more time under the bar or in the gym, or, you know, your physique's not quite there yet, and don't just rush to the stage. Get the time back in the gym, make the improvements, take the time to understand what you need to
100%.
do to build your physique.
I mean, these are great points. It's very difficult sometimes, I think, to separate the person from the physique. People will be giving you feedback on your physique, but they're trying not to make it a personal attack on you. They're just saying your physique needs more of this, and it's very difficult not to take it that way. But if someone says you've got weaker legs, you need to spend some time, and that's a consistent theme, then maybe you actually, as Steph says, now, person that can compete year after year after year, normally it's a case of that person is much more balanced. The physique is balanced, they just need more size, or they need a bit more condition, and they've got enough size already, but if you have got weaknesses and you've not put the time in to start with, I mean, your British final competitors, we're talking 3 or 4 years competitive experience usually, and for the guys it's around about 10 years. Training under their belt. For the girls it's a little bit less, around about 7 to 6 years. So that's what we're sort of talking about to be high level in terms of sport. So if you're getting feedback which is you really need to make improvements, then
Go make the improvements.
Go take the time off, but have a plan. Put something in place. Set clear goals.
Yeah.
Don't make the goals too far off, because if it's 3 years down the line, then you might never come back to it. If it's 2 years down the line, you still might never come back to it.
Yeah.
So it's a season off and come again. And you can do a lot with 24 to 32 weeks of good quality training.
Massive.
That's a lot of workouts.
Yeah, I mean,
and it's a lot of eating.
Andrew and I, we've been off now for 2 years. Our last showing was 2017. We're coming back at 2019, and we can see those improvements.
Yeah. I mean,
we can see those improvements.
I didn't think I had a great off season. It was kind of short when I actually
had some
planned it,
hard bits as well. Yeah.
But 3 months of good quality training on top of what I've built already. Yeah. Okay, I think we'll wrap it up here.
One thing I just wanted to add.
Sure.
Well, I always do this, don't I? Right at the end. A piece of advice for new or novice competitors or juniors or anybody just really starting out. I did this, I'm sure Andrew did this, and a lot of people do. In the first couple of years of your bodybuilding, you put so much pressure on yourself because you're looking at the best of the best people to aspire to be like them. So one of the things I would advise is remember not to compare your first step to somebody's,
Mr. Olympia,
5, 10, 15 years down the line, because this is a pattern I see a lot with new first comers. Have you seen so and so? Well, yes, but so and so has been competing for the last 5 years, 6 years, 10 years. So whilst there is incredible inspiration and motivation to drive you, remember we all have to start somewhere, and take the feedback, take the advice from your peers, take the advice from people who know what they're talking about. Don't be too hard on yourself if you don't get the placing you want in year 1, year 2, year 3.
There can only be one winner.
Just build, stay consistent, put the time in. Time and consistency are your best friends in this world. So really, progress is made slowly. There's no other way of saying it. You've got to just put the time and the effort in and know that everything you're doing is working towards that bigger picture eventually.
That's it. Okay, so to summarise, we're saying compete next year or not, take time off or not, it depends on the individual. What's going on in that individual's life? Have they got external goals going in there? Do they need to make significant improvements to the physique or not? Or have they got the physique already and you just need to either build a little bit more or bring in a little bit more condition? You definitely can make improvements year on year. Absolutely.
And some people need that as the focus and the goal to push them.
Be conscious of people telling you you do need to take time off because you maybe need to make some improvements. Also, reflect how you got on in the shows.
How does it fit into your life?
Yeah, does it fit in your life? Is it really for you? Because this is a lifestyle.
Yeah, and remember there's a
total lifestyle.
A key line here. Bodybuilding is something you do, it's not who you are. Unless you are being paid and you're like a full-on, full-time athlete, it shouldn't consume your life. You should remember to prioritize other things in your life
and then,
also.
Last but not least, just a final closing point. The stage will always be there.
Always be there.
If you want to come back after 10 years, the stage will be there. Don't you worry about it. Okay, that's a wrap. We'll call it here. So thank you very much for watching our video. This is Pro Prep signing out. Be sure to check out our Facebook page, check out our Instagram, check out our website as well, and all the other YouTube content as well as Steph Noble Figure Pro and Andrew Chappelle Bodybuilding Fitness.
By Scott's Oats.
Fueled by the Oats. Peace.
Fueled by the Oats. Good luck to everybody competing at the UK BSBA this weekend. We wish you all the very best. Go shine.